somebody will help us out here shortly.
Well, our producer said she will be watching,
Oh, really?
and so
She's
hopefully
recovering.
She can, yeah, so hopefully she can give us some pointers if there's anything wrong.
All right, so we're live on Facebook, Glocker Realty and Insurance. We're also live on YouTube, Glocker Realty and Insurance. We're also live on Jeff Frederick with Glocker Realty. You know, what the hell? I might as well just turn on the feed to Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate, too.
Go for it. Can you do it without everything crashing?
I just did it.
Awesome.
I just did it. See, the switch wasn't up. That's what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a switch that I have to add.
Okay.
And it didn't come over. Once the switch is there, it's just a matter of turning the switches on and off.
So everybody that was patiently waiting for this to begin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And that was our problem. I asked to be since it was our anniversary show today, 1 year anniversary, that it be streamed through my Facebook page as well, and I crashed the system.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of a crash.
That happens.
Don't forget that the chat box is open. If you want to put in a chat, if you want to chat with us, if you want to ask us a question, if you want to tell us hello, if you want to tell us that the sound is horrible.
Or that it's good.
Or that it's good.
We like that too.
If you want to tell me that I'm ugly, whatever. Let us know that you're out there and watching the Cast at Glocker 1 year anniversary show. We're live on multiple platforms now.
Awesome.
We're getting the thumbs up from Gypsy Chris.
All right.
Who is actually in our live audience tonight.
She is. She's only but feet away.
But feet.
But feet away.
Having dinner with her mentor, Lou Beccaria.
You know what? And first time at Grind.
Yes.
Which we are at tonight. I don't know if we informed the audience yet that we are at Grind Restaurant tonight, live right now as you're watching.
Right.
So you know what?
Come down here.
Come down here. Say hi. You don't have to get on camera.
No.
You can just wave from a distance, or you can come and sit down. We have a hot mic here today.
We do.
Anyone can sit down. You don't have to be a business owner or just be Joe Schmo.
With something
like me,
to
that's
say.
what I am and you are. We're Joe Schmoes.
Joe Schmoes.
Yeah.
We just have a lot to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an open mic. It's an open seat. If you come down and get on the mic at the open seat, I'll even buy you a beer.
Nice.
That's what I do for people that want to sit down and have something to say. You can get a free drink.
Yeah.
On top of expressing your opinion. Judy Green, the executive producer of Porchcast Pottstown, is tuned in to the Cast at
Mrs.
Glocker
Green.
tonight. Hello.
You know what? This is our 1 year anniversary. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
1 year anniversary, and I never said the famous expression that everybody says when they're like winning an award or something. Hi, Mom. I never said it. So
you never said hi, Mom.
Hi. Dad, hi. I know you're there too. Dads never get the respect, you know. But
yeah, it's always hi, Mom, isn't it?
Right, it is.
Sound is super low. All right, I'm gonna do the best I can to get the sound up super high.
Well, maybe not super high. Maybe just average high. Yeah, so it is our 1 year anniversary show. So Matt and I are putting ourselves in the hot seat today for the Cast at Glocker. We are not interviewing any particular guests. There are questions that we put out there about a week ago. We said, hey, if you have any questions for the hosts, Matt and I, put it out there on Facebook. And so there was a few questions that we will be answering tonight.
Right.
And we said it could be anything. It doesn't have to be real estate related. It can be anything to do with our personal life, whatever, just like we would ask our guests. So that's what people did, and I think there's some pretty good questions that are definitely going to make us think for a minute at least.
Right.
Yeah.
So people are complaining about the sound. You're just going to have to turn the sound up on your device as loud as it'll go.
Is it not
I have
good?
everything cranked. Every single switch that I can crank the volume.
All mics are on except for that one?
As high as they will go.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a bummer.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I can't do anything more
I
with
wonder
the sound.
what that could be.
I have no idea.
This is a. If you watch the show regularly, you can see that we're not tech geniuses. We're not. We don't always know what's going on with these computer things. So
I tested
We
it
tried-
earlier,
yeah.
and I did see. I'm sorry if you can't hear me. We can't hear you. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Like, can you hear? Maybe not. You can't hear, but the frustration in my voice should be coming through, because
I'm feeling it.
I have no idea what I'm doing behind this computer. I do what I can. I do the best that I can. Every single volume control that I have is maxed. Maxed.
Yeah. Weird.
Yep.
Well,
All right.
okay.
Anyway, we're just going to keep going. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning
And
in.
if the sound is just low, I guess that's what we're going to have to do. But
what we're gonna have to do.
if it's distorted or something like that, let us know.
It's what we're going to have to do. It's the only thing I know how to do.
Right.
It's so loud that it's actually feeding back into my headphones
Really?
from the soundboard. Yeah. Now, also keep in mind, folks, that Facebook yesterday and the day before, was it the day before,
crash,
had
yeah.
a major crash. So if you're watching on Facebook, it could be due to this Facebook
I
stuff.
hope we're not blasting out the YouTube people.
We could be blasting out the YouTube people, so the YouTube people will have to chime in and let us know.
Yeah.
We could be blasting out YouTube and not having enough sound on Facebook. So, as far as I can tell, it's not my equipment.
Okay.
Because my equipment is literally feeding back in the headphones
Yeah.
because I have all the volume controls up as high as they'll go.
Okay.
There's one thing I can do, and it's not going to affect the sound all that much. It's just going to keep our microphones from popping when we say.
Yeah.
That's the only other thing I can do. So anyway, get to these. Let's get to some of these questions, or at least do a little bit of talking. And I'm going to try to switch over to Facebook so that I can listen to some of the sound over there, and maybe see if it's a Facebook problem. That's the only thing that I can think of that it is.
All right. Well, before the questions involves both of us, so I will just talk.
Yeah, you kick it off
All right.
for a couple minutes.
We are the cast at Glocker. I don't know if we said that yet. We've been doing this for 1 year now. We've been doing a live podcast almost every Wednesday. I mean, we took a lot of time off in the summertime, but most Wednesdays you'll see us live. We started it.
A year ago?
Yeah, a year ago. I didn't want to say that again. Thank you for making me say it again. But we started it with the thought that that we could bring forward a lot of these people in the community, whether they're business owners or just people who help out the community, bring them out into a light and just kind of have people see what they do for the Boyertown community. And I think we have done that. I think we have so far shed a light on some really great people that people might not have known about before.
Yeah, I
you know?
think it does give people kind of a little bit of behind-the-scenes glimpse of what's going on in and around Boyertown. We're bringing you interviews and some interaction with people that own businesses and are part of the communities.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of
And
really
a lot
good...
of times these people are in the background. They're not right there in the front. you
They're
know?
not front-facing people
Right.
sometimes. Like Keith here at The Grind is usually in the back running the kitchen, making sure everything's running smoothly. People might not recognize Keith right off the bat, as an example.
Right.
And then there's just some businesses that aren't necessarily public-facing all the time.
Correct.
So,
yeah.
I think we've introduced people to new people in and around
Yeah.
Boyertown.
I know I've really enjoyed meeting these people and learning a bit about them. And a lot of these new business owners, a lot of people that are opening up new businesses in Boyertown, we had a chance to interview. And it's really interesting to hear where they came from and how they got to that point.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll be getting to that a little bit tonight
Their
about
process,
ourselves. as well.
Oh, there's a word for it. It just went out of my head. But anyway, their origin story.
Oh, yeah.
We've heard the origin story
Right.
of multiple businesses.
And I'm always interested in that.
Yeah, how do they get to where they're at?
And usually it's, I mean, a lot of times it's like they're doing something like over here, and which brings them to all the way over here.
Right. No,
Yeah.
we've talked to some people, like for instance, the woman that owns the design company. What is it? M&B
M&B
Design.
Design, yep.
I mean, how she got to there
Mhm.
from being a social worker, you know
Right.
what I mean, and went from social worker to interior design.
Right.
That's an interesting origin story.
Yeah.
It's not one that you would expect, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you take a listen?
I took a listen, and I listened to it on Facebook.
Yeah. How's it sound?
It is low, but if
it's
I
okay, that's
turn the
clear, though, at
speaker
least?
up, if I turn the speaker up all the way
Okay.
on my Facebook, on my computer, I can hear it.
All right.
So you're just gonna have to
Yeah.
turn it up.
Sorry, folks.
It is
Can't-
what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not. We use free software, right? The hardware that you see in front of us has cost thousands of dollars, somewhere in the neighborhood of $4,000 or $5,000 we have invested in it.
Right.
The software is free because a lot of these software programs are professional grade programs, and they're super expensive to
Yeah.
purchase them or to have a monthly subscription.
Yeah.
So we're doing the best we can with free
Right.
service. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
We're at.
And we don't make a dime off of this, so.
No,
it's
not really.
Yeah.
It's just to help us promote town and promote business, promote our business, and introduce you to the town and to us. And maybe you'll want to give us a call when you have a question about real estate or want to buy and sell something. Lawana Miner is asking us about where we're at. We're at Grind Restaurant,
Yeah.
which is on Reading Avenue in Boyertown. I'm going to look up the address right here quick.
It's 47. It's 47 South Reading Avenue.
South Reading Avenue.
Yep.
There you go. 47 South Reading
that's right.
Avenue in the borough of Boyertown.
That's from memory, Matt. So
I'm going to look it up to
Yeah.
make sure that you're right.
I'm
'cause
darn close, at least.
I want Lawana to get to the right place.
Hey, yeah, she should come on down, and like I said, you don't have to come on mic, but stop in and say hi, and have something to eat because the food is awesome.
The food is awesome here.
Awesome.
I've eaten several times here. It's 45 South Reading
That's
Avenue.
close. I mean, super close.
And I'm going
I
to
still-
throw up a link to their restaurant in the chat. Remember that the chat is open, and I will monitor that as best as I can.
Yeah, and any questions, please bring them our way. We'll answer them tonight. We don't usually ask questions about us. Usually it's about a guest. We're the guests tonight, so
That's correct.
yeah.
We got so many channels open up. I'm going to post across as many of those channels as I possibly can.
Can you see questions coming in from each separate channel, or is it
Yeah,
kind of all
I
mixed
can.
together?
They're all mixed together. I know where they come from because there's
Okay.
a little icon
Oh,
next
okay.
to it. And I know that Lawana is probably watching me on Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate
Okay,
because
cool.
she's a regular Porchtonian.
Oh, you know her. She's a Porchtonian.
She watches Porchcast Pottstown, and
Nice.
she's my neighbor. She
Oh,
lives
cool.
right around the corner from me on Chestnut Street.
Very good.
Her and her son. Yep. Super nice people.
Awesome.
All right, I posted it up. The link to Grind Restaurant is now posted on all YouTube channels and all Facebook channels that we are currently broadcasting on.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Matt. So we have some questions. Let's get to it. I'm going to pick one.
Okay.
I want to ask you the question.
Okay.
You have to answer it, no matter what it is.
All right.
I'll answer it too.
I'm not
But-
very easily embarrassed.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Good.
It takes a lot. I know that's one of the questions because I got a preview of some of the questions, or at least one.
Okay. Well, this is from Terry Drobbins.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our producer's mother.
Okay, she wants to know what color underwear you're wearing. No, I'm kidding. She didn't ask that.
Gray with a blue waistband.
With a
I
what
wear
waistband?
boxer briefs.
A flute?
Blue.
Oh,
With a
blue. Oh, blue. Oh, okay.
Gray with a blue waistband.
Yeah, yeah.
And I wear boxer briefs.
Nice. Nice. All right.
Gives me the
but that's not the
support
question, though.
Gives me the support that I need.
I made that up because I was dying to know.
All right.
What did you want to be when you grew up when you were younger? That's question number one, Matt.
So when I was a teenager, I
Yes.
worked for Pottstown Parks and Recreation, which is in the borough of Pottstown. And I worked on the maintenance crew, and I was also a lifeguard at the swimming pool. And it was kind of through that work that I realized you could make a career out of working in parks and recreation. So one time when we were on vacation with my family, we were traveling, and we were down at like Assateague Island or one of
Is
those
that where
places.
the horses are?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a national park. And I saw the park ranger driving on the beach in his patrol truck.
Right.
You know, they had this like
That's cool.
beach buggy. It was like a Ford Bronco or something, you
Yeah.
know. And it was all marked up, park ranger. It had the lights and everything. And that combined with my experience in parks and recreation, I kind of knew that I wanted to get involved in outdoors and conservation and
And
things
you
of that
did,
nature.
correct?
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I worked for Montgomery County Parks. I worked for Chester County Parks. I worked for the National Park Service. I worked for the U.S. Forest Service. So I did that for almost 20 years altogether, and then transitioned into being a police officer. But initially, I wanted to work in parks, and then eventually that morphed into wanting to be a park ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
there you go. That's my origin story.
So to answer that question for myself, when I was younger, I remember I remember the question being brought to me in junior high. I think I don't know reason why or anything like that.
Yeah.
But at that time, I wanted to do woodworking.
Okay.
I wanted to like build cabinets and cables and whatever stuff like that. I just wanted to work with wood and my hands.
Right.
So when I graduated, I don't know if that desire was there as much as it was then, as it was when I was younger.
You mean when you graduated from high school?
High school, yeah.
Okay.
But I did do construction, and I did like that. I worked construction for my uncle, and I worked for a friend, and on and off for years. But then, when I was 21, I became a bartender. And
Oh, that's right. I remember you worked at Trap Tavern.
I worked at a
That
whole
was
bunch
one
of
of the
places.
places.
Look who's here. We got Keith with us here.
All right.
So we'll stop that for a minute. And no, jump
Sit
in,
down,
Keith.
because we don't want to. We don't want to disturb your work because you're getting a room full of guests.
Is his mic on?
His mic is on. He's
Okay.
ready to go.
Bring yourself a little closer because we heard that the volume's low tonight. So
Anyway,
yeah.
Keith Kopicki. Kopicki?
Yes,
Did I get that right?
that's correct. Yep.
You are the owner of this fine establishment and our host for the evening here at Grind Restaurant.
Yes.
And he
Thank you.
also was the first guest on our show
He was.
many moons ago. Well,
That's
it was
why
one
we.
moon, or-
That's why we
Yeah.
came back here for the 1 year anniversary show.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Excellent. Excellent.
So what's going on, man? Bring us up to speed.
Yeah. What's changed in a year?
What changed in a year?
Yeah. If you can even remember that
yeah.
far back.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I think a year ago, were we open inside yet?
I think
COVID?
you were, but it was kind of like I think there was.
No, he was doing carry out only,
Was it
and he
still
was doing
carry-out?
those family meals and
'Cause
stuff like that.
I know over the summer prior to you being on the show, you were doing outdoor service. I wasn't sure.
We started outdoor service. I remember in July.
Yeah.
I don't remember when they allowed us to come back inside. Actually, no. If it was, is this the 1 year today?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then we were back inside, limited.
It was
Very
limited
Okay,
seating.
okay.
Very limited.
Right.
But then I remember this is also the month that at the end of the month they shut us down for the holidays too. So
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
if I remember, if that was a year ago,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So since then, staffing's been getting better. Not perfect, but we're getting more and more people in. And the thing that got a lot worse now is our food supply.
Right.
The food supply is tough. It's hard
Because
to
of
get.
these
supplies
supply
everything.
chain
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. And other than that, I mean, some of the prices, obviously, everyone's aware of it. Prices everywhere. Our crab meat went from claw meat used to be $8.99. As of my order yesterday, it's now $33.99 a pound.
A pound.
Wow.
Yes.
It jumped that much.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
That's
one of the
insane.
reasons why, because they couldn't get the crab pickers to come in and pick the crab because they were shut down because
Right.
of COVID.
Right.
And then there was outbreaks at some of the crab facilities.
Yeah.
That slowed down their production. And now the crab picking facilities were never good paying jobs.
Yeah.
Ever.
So now people don't want to do it either.
They don't want to do it.
Right.
Why do that when you can go down the street to the local Wawa or Royal Farms, whatever is going on, and get a $500 signing bonus and full
Yeah.
benefits and everything else? We pick crab meat, that's a day rate job.
Right.
It's farm labor.
Yeah.
It's the lowest paying stuff going on. So anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, so yeah, there's been some challenges, but otherwise, I mean, the community's been great.
Awesome.
We're getting
Good to
busier
hear.
now that the weather's breaking. I know no one enjoys the colder weather, but it's helping us with the indoor seating.
Right.
So yeah, but we're getting back.
There's a
We're
lot
getting
of-
back to it. Yeah.
A lot of people like chilly weather, just not cold weather.
Yeah.
Not snow and ice.
Cold and damp.
Yeah.
They don't like.
Right.
So when people come down here, because they should, you're the owner, you're the head guy, you know all the ins and outs. All of your food is good, right? It's all good.
I like to think so.
But what do you recommend? Like, what's your top recommendation for somebody coming down here?
Top recommendation. So I would say one of my favorite things on the menu, period, is our Milanese cigars. It's an appetizer. It's asparagus wrapped in prosciutto and provolone cheese. It's a nice sharp cheese, and then a puff pastry comes out. You get 3 of them. It has this lemon aioli. It pairs perfectly. The salt from the prosciutto and the with the lemon aioli cuts right through it. It's one of my favorite things on the menu. It's a nice little finger food or quick appetizer. Our scallops are the best scallops you can get. You
Okay.
They're
and
called.
they taste like the best scallops you can
Yeah.
get.
Yeah,
Right.
so we get what you call dry scallops or diver scallops or boat scallops. It means they are the fresh, dry packed scallops. There's no they don't not chemically treated in any way or form. They're completely fresh, and you can't beat them. So I love the scallops. I love the cigars. I love a lot of our food, but I'd say I eat a lot of cigars and a lot of scallops. I got to probably cut back on that.
Yeah, because you're starting to thicken up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's cutting into his own profit
Yeah.
margin. And then, so we want to try the cigars. We want to try the scallops if we come down. That's the owner's recommendation.
There you go.
See, this
Straight
is
from
the
owner.
inside. This is the inside scoop that
Yeah.
you can get here on the Cast at Glocker, right?
That's right.
So I'm having that. What are you mixing? What drink are you mixing? What's your favorite
My
cocktail
favorite drink?
because
So-
that's one of the things too. In addition to the food,
Right.
you have this great full-service bar.
We do. So I would say right now in the summer, like especially with the beach and stuff, I've been drinking a lot of. We're fortunate enough that we have Crown Peach here. Mix some Crown Peach with lemonade, or mix it with iced tea and lemonade. Make it but that's it's a nice, refreshing, light drink right now. The winter it will change around a little bit, maybe more towards the bourbons and a heavier drink, but a lighter drink for the moment is good.
Okay.
And, some more exciting news is starting tomorrow. Actually, our late night menu starts tomorrow.
Okay.
So we're bringing back our popular chicken bacon ranch flatbread. We're also adding a new flatbread, a margarita flatbread with tomatoes and mozzarella on it. We're bringing a whole bunch of stuff like fried raviolis, arancini, Bavarian pretzels and sausage coming on a skewer with dipping
Nice.
sauce.
Nice.
That's all coming in.
A pretzel shish kebab.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're bringing in some new stuff for everyone to try out.
So late night, what does that?
Yeah. What are
So
the
it's
hours?
8 o'clock.
Okay.
So you can get it. The flatbreads eventually in a few weeks will also be on the main menu, but these are like kind of late night snacks. So if you want to come out, we know a lot of people want to go out and get kind of something a little bit smaller. I shouldn't say lighter because that's not always the right word, but people like their fried food when they're drinking at night or more of a snack. So when you're talking about your flatbreads, your fried ravioli, your arancini, we still have stuff like shrimp cocktail and cheese boards available for you. But it allows our kitchen to be open 1 hour later without having the full menu open. So it's more of a limited
Yeah.
menu. Kitchen's open until 9 on the weekdays and 10 on the weekends still, but open 1 hour later with like more hour style bar food, limited menu. So you're here an hour later to eat and drink if you want.
And I also saw that there's a new addition to your restaurant opening soon.
Yes, our Tapas Lounge. Scott's finishing that up in about a week or two. Should be
Okay.
done. That's going to be an area if you want to come and just get a drink or little snacks. So tapas means that is like a snack or light thing with cocktails. Small little tables. You can't come get a steak there, but it will be a situation where you can come in and you want to just lounge around on nice big comfy sofa couch things with big pillows behind you. And especially if you don't want to sit at the bar, or some people don't like sitting at the high top, or if you like both or it's full, it's another option to come in and hang out and get a drink and relax. A lot more relaxing and comfy rather than sitting in like a restaurant chair or a bar stool. So.
And that's open now. The
Yeah, it'll
lounge.
be open in about a week and two.
In about a week. Okay.
Yeah. So our late night menu is Thursday, Friday, Saturday for 2 weeks. We're doing a test run with the food to make sure it's right and make any changes we have to until we fully release it every day of the week. That also coincides with our brand new happy hour and daily drink specials. We also have a weekend drink special as well. So we used to only have a limited happy hour. Now if you come in from 8 to 10, it coincides with the late night. You can get everything from domestic and craft draft beers for discounted price, wine, all of our well liquors. So we have a lot of stuff now for you to be able to come in and get whatever you want for happy hour. And then on the weekends, in addition to that, Friday and Saturday, we also from 3 to 5, like an early bird special type thing, all of our signature cocktails are half off. So you can come in and get a $12 margarita for $6.
Nice.
Santa Margarita or
Nice.
Yeah.
some of our other stuff.
That's some afternoon drinking right there, man.
Friday and Saturday, yes.
Well, you come in, you go on like the Colbrookdale Railroad or something like that. You walk around town, visit some of the other restaurants or shops. Maybe pick up a cheesecake from
Semper Pi.
Yep.
And then come in here and grab yourself a cocktail and a little snack.
Half
Sounds
price.
like a great day.
And you know what? I think that afternoon drinking is the best drinking.
Yeah, you're a day drinker.
As long as
No,
it's
I'm
nothing
not
to
a
do
day
afterwards.
drinker, but when I get the chance, when I'm able to drink in the afternoon, I know it's a good day, right?
As long as you have nothing to do
No
afterwards.
responsibilities, yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a win-win right there.
Yeah,
I
so
like
no.
getting into it early, but sometimes it causes problem with my motivation to get anything done.
That's what I'm saying. If you are able to do afternoon drinking,
Yeah.
it's a good day because that means you have no responsibilities that day at all.
I'm just putting the address up for Grind Restaurant again on all of the channels. It's 45 South Reading Avenue, Boyertown, Pennsylvania, 19512.
Yeah.
Come on down. It's starting to fill up. I mean, you're getting a nice little crowd for a Wednesday night. It's not bad.
I'll tell you, Monday night, that was 2 days ago, we were so full. We had both rooms open on a Monday. We were, I don't know what happened. We got busy. I mean,
I know what happened.
Yeah.
You have good food and good service,
There you
and
go.
people know it, and they're
That's
coming
what
down.
happens.
but no, it's been getting busy it's been getting busier. We were slower in the summer, but it's definitely picking up, and it feels good. It
Right.
feels good.
So listen, let's ask Keith if you have a couple more minutes. What made you get into the restaurant business? Like, is this something that you've always wanted to do, or did you, like, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
So when I was growing up, I always wanted to be an orthodontist. Ever since I got braces, when I was young, I was 10 maybe, and went
So
through high
wait, so
school.
getting braces made you want to do that?
Well, I wanted to be a dentist originally. For
Okay.
some reason, I don't know why. I mean, it's just something in my head. I wanted to be a dentist.
Maybe it was the Rudolph.
The Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And then I would go to the dentist. I actually didn't mind going to the dentist. My aunt's a dental hygienist. We'd go and
All right,
Um,
so you have dentistry in the family.
kind of, yeah.
Okay.
And then what happened was I went to the orthodontist and I saw how much cleaner the work was. Also, anytime you talk about a dentist, people are scared of them. People don't like dentists.
And you like that part of it?
Well, no, I'm saying, but once I went to the orthodontist, I saw everyone actually enjoys going. It's not
Oh.
people aren't scared. The kids enjoy going in. It's a little bit more fun. It's cleaner work.
Yeah.
So after I started seeing that, then I switched over to being an orthodontist and went through high school. Went to University of Pittsburgh. I was going for dental. Then I was going after. So the year before, after I was done at Pitt, I deferred my acceptance for dental school. I was working at a golf course over in Elverson, caddying, and my whole life story is it's not what you know anymore till you know. I would have had 8 more years in school to be an orthodontist. You have to do your 4 years of dental school, do your specialty, and then go into your residency. And I was already, I had met some people doing some work, and I said I'd rather start making money now. And I wasn't ever a huge fan of school. His wife knows that. As much as I did okay, but I mean I did pretty well, but I didn't enjoy it. I didn't
Right.
enjoy school, so I just started working, and then I started working at Red Lobster one night a week. Supposed to serve. At the time, I was single, and I had nothing. I mean, other than working, I just wanted to make more money.
Yeah.
In the first 2 weeks, they got me to start coming in a lot more, and I spent, I don't know, probably 3-4 years there serving and got into management, and they were trying to get me to go further, and I said I can do it better. So I happened to just call Jeff the one day. I was looking for apartments for 2 years probably, apartment
Something like
buildings.
that, yeah.
So I was originally looking for like a 3, 4, 5 unit apartment investment building, and at the same time I said, hey, I wouldn't mind looking at some restaurants, just thinking about it. And he said, I have a perfect thing for you. It has 5 apartments and a restaurant, and the glove fit. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here you are.
here I am.
And you worked with Build
And
a
you're
Better
doing it better too.
Yeah.
You are. I agree.
Doing it better?
Trying.
Better
Red
than
Lobster?
Red Lobster?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's not that hard to beat a commercial chain, a corporate chain, right? It's
Corporate
kind-
teaches you what not to do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's cookie cutter too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you're really going for a more unique experience here.
Yeah, well, one thing I can tell you, and this is the honest truth, is a lot of I don't know of a single restaurant anymore in the area that I can go to and say they don't have a microwave in the building. Red Lobster, not knocking them. A lot of these chain places have a row of microwaves. They still cook some things, but it's a lot of microwave, or they call them industrial ovens. It's a commercial microwave. We don't have, I mean, I will give you $1 million if you can find a microwave in the building. We do not have a microwave
Right.
anywhere for anything, any way, shape, or form. So, that matters, I think. So.
Right. You're doing it fresh. You're
Yeah.
doing it right. Kudos to you, my friend. Congratulations. Now, you pulled a lot of this off with some help from Build a Better Boyertown. You had some grants that came together. Do you want to just talk about that real
Yeah.
quick, since we are kind of affiliated with Build a Better Boyertown, all of us sitting at this table?
Yeah, we all are. Yeah.
So building a better Boyertown, it was a grant to building a better Boyertown or the borough, not to me.
Right.
So they got a $300,000. It was called the Anchor Building Grant, which was actually, before I was even involved, it was linked to this building because it was sitting here as an eyesore in Boyertown for a long time. It was vacant. A lot of work needed to be done. And every buyer they tried to find, from what, at least from me and Jeff and everyone found out, was that it was too much of a, I mean, there was a lot had to go into this building.
There was a lot. Yeah, you put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, it was, I mean, from everything from the HVAC to the plumbing, electric, and with the 5 apartments had to be redone. You couldn't just rent them out. You had to redo them.
Yeah.
And from everything in the kitchen, everything everywhere had to be redone, essentially. So they offered that to me as a financing, essentially. So my loan came from them rather than a bank.
Okay.
For the renovations of the building. That really helped me, be able to do what I can do. And afford the liquor license and all that type of stuff. So they were big in. I mean, it was a huge help for them to be able to go out and get that grant,
Right.
And get it linked to this building. And then it was just, I guess, a good fit, or I don't know. I mean, it was an opportunity, a good
Yeah, it was an
opportunity.
opportunity. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, did you get a regular liquor license, or was this some type of redevelopment liquor license that you were
No, I
able
had to
to
buy
get?
a regular liquor license.
You had to buy a regular one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No,
That
it's
took a long
not
time.
it's not a easy process
Not
at
at
all. And for instance, you go right over the border in Montgomery County, and the company that owns the King of Prussia Mall buys every single liquor license.
And then
that
you have to buy through them.
Then you have to
Yeah.
buy it from them.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if you're lucky enough to, you can get one if you find a place that's going out of business, you get in before the King of Prussia Mall buys it because
Right.
it's a free. But they usually offer a lot of money. I mean, the same thing happened to me in Berks County, which I'm in. A liquor license before I bought the building used to go around $75,000, which is still a lot of money for a liquor license, not compared to Montgomery in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But they opened it up to grocery stores and. I guess, I don't know if it was gas stations, but the retail stores can now buy them, like the grocery
Right,
stores and stuff.
right. Like
So
Redner's
instantly the prices skyrocketed, and every liquor license that was available was bought by a Sheetz or a Redner's or a Giant. So I got them at the wrong time. Took me a long time to try and get them. Yeah. I had good timing with COVID and with liquor licenses. It was perfect. So,
Right.
Well, it can't all go smoothly, can
yeah,
it?
it can't all go smoothly, but we're still here. So
That's right. Absolutely.
Life wouldn't be fun if there wasn't some challenges along the way.
That's what I tell my son. I said if it was just easy, then everybody doing it would be very boring,
yeah.
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the truth.
But our 2-year anniversary comes up in December,
Okay.
I believe. And if anyone remembers back when the first Halloween parade was in, so that would have been 2000 and wait, I bought it in 2018.
19.
So 2019, the Halloween parade. There wasn't one in 2020 because of COVID.
Right.
2019, me and Josh were out front selling donuts
I
at
remember.
the Halloween parade. That was before we opened up.
And they were good too.
Yes, we still have them, still popular. So this year, I think for the Halloween parade, we're gonna have 1 or 2 drink specials, probably like a hot apple, an apple cider liquor drink or something. Because I
Okay.
know a lot of people are gonna be wanting to grab some drinks and stuff. So we're gonna have a drink special or 2 for the parade on the 23rd. Is it 24th?
I should know that.
It's coming up.
Something
soon.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you should know that,
I should.
Jeff.
I should.
You know Boyertown.
Yeah.
Well, I should know it because I actually just found that information out for a lady that contacted me because she said Jeff knows Boyertown, so I'll contact him. And
Right.
I found that information out for her, but I just don't remember. It was something like the 23rd. I think
It's
23rd
something like
sounds
that, yeah.
right.
Let me ask you maybe a little bit of a harder question. How do you feel like in Pottstown on my other show, we do very similar things. We interview business owners and people from different organizations. And one of the things that we're hearing about what's going on in Pottstown is the business owners are having good relationships with the other business owners. The business community in of itself is welcoming to new businesses in town. Are you finding a similar experience to that here in Boyertown?
Yeah, I would say the business owners, specifically other restaurant owners around here I shouldn't say all of them, have been friendly, cordial. I do wish there was collectively, and myself included, I'm not taking any of the, putting the blame on anyone else as well. I mean, collectively we could work together a little better. We could get some events together or just collaboration. In terms of being friendly and helpful and receptive, it's awesome. I think we could do a little bit more together collectively sometimes, not all the time, maybe for some events.
Right, right.
Because
Together
truthfully,
is
in a
better.
town like this, you're not competition. I don't.
Well, competition's even good because it doesn't matter how
Friendly
good,
competition.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how good we are
Yeah.
or how good anyone else is. At some time, even you yourself, if you come here 10 days or 10 times in a row, you're going to want to change it up.
Yeah.
The menu, things change. You want a different atmosphere, whatever. So it's nice to have a few nice places that are all working together that you can, if they're comfortable going here and then hopping here and then hopping back and forth, that's great. So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it brings that attention. So somebody who comes into grind, for instance, on a regular basis is going to drive past Izzy's and one day like, hey, you know what? We should go check that out.
Right.
Or vice versa. The regular at Izzy's who's coming here to town all the time for that is going to see the grind and one day pop their head in this door to
Sure.
see what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think there's kind of the more the merrier kind of
Yeah.
situation.
I mean, you might always have your favorite, but like he said, I mean, you're gonna try them all. You're going to probably go to them all as long as they're good. As long as
Right.
all of them are good.
right.
I know us and other farm are we have similar concepts food-wise. I mean, we're definitely different, but we're
Right.
the closest 2 restaurants in this little area. And I hear all the time there's people that come here and go back and forth. It's not like it's just one or the other. They come here for something, whether it's the drinks or a certain type of food, and might go there for something else they do entirely different that we just don't offer because we don't offer everything they have either. So it's
Right.
back and forth, and that's the way it should be. It's
Yeah.
good,
Building a community, building a better Boyertown.
That's right.
See what I did there?
I do.
All right, so let's get back to your thing.
All right, Keith.
You were
we
right
took
in the
enough of your
middle.
time up, I guess, right?
All right. Yeah, that's fine. I'll get out of here. Yeah. Enjoy your
We'll
podcast.
talk to you more if you
Yeah,
want.
you can stay or go,
Today's
whatever
supposed
you
to be
want
my
to
day
do.
off, so I'm.
Oh, is it?
I wasn't even supposed to. I wasn't supposed to be. Never a day off. Sometimes, really, but
Yeah,
yeah. So it is. No, pleasure talking, you guys.
absolutely.
Get
And
through
thanks for
what you-
letting us come here tonight
Absolutely.
and
Good to see you.
and everything you do for us.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks,
You
Keith.
help appreciate
Really
it.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. See you, Keith.
See you.
So we were at your story of the
What I-
yeah,
yes.
what you wanted to do for a living.
So I
right?
graduated high school. I did some construction. I enjoyed it. Not something I want to do the rest of my life. And then when I was 21, I got my bartender's license, and my first job was at, well, technically my first job was at Gracie's Restaurant, which is an upscale restaurant in Pottstown.
Yeah, it's in Pine Forge.
Yep. And though I liked the job, I wasn't a fit for that because I was more of a little edgier than they like.
Right.
They're more.
You wanted to party.
Yeah, exactly. And they're very, I don't know.
It's fine dining.
It's fine dining.
They're going for
And
a more
if you ever want a great fine dining meal, I highly recommend Gracie's. Yeah,
the food's phenomenal.
And the atmosphere's really cool and everything. Yeah,
Right.
Really great place. That was technically my first job. I didn't stay there. I wasn't there very long. Then I worked at the Bally Hotel. I was there for years. Did the Finnegan's Wake there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that put my mindset in. I wanted to become a restaurant owner. It's funny. We should have kept Keith here because it's funny.
I didn't tell him he had to
Because
leave.
I know
was
I'm
just
the one
trying
did. I kicked him out, didn't I? I did.
It's your fault. He's your
I didn't want him to feel.
He's your client
I
too.
didn't want him to feel awkward sitting here.
Good job,
He wasn't
Jeff.
the center of attention.
Good job.
But yeah. So anyway, I said I want to open a restaurant, and I had a goal. I was going to open a restaurant and bar, and I had all sorts of ideas and everything like that. Went to school for it. Actually, I went to Montco. Just went to business class. Took business classes just to know the business part of it. And somewhere along the way, I realized that it was of far reach that I couldn't quite reach.
Right.
So
Why? What turns you off about it?
I think it was just
too much work, or
No, I think
capital investment.
I think it was the capital investment. I think is what it was, and then also during those years I was doing a lot of bartending, and I was starting to realize that I want to have the normal life too.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to do with that lifestyle, at least with bartending, which it's really the same thing with managing a restaurant as well. I mean, you're talking late nights and long
60,
hours.
70, 80-hour weeks.
Yeah.
And you're married to it. You got to be there when it opens. You got to be there when it closes.
Yep.
And then after it closes, you got to do the books.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time. And I just realized that that wasn't the direction I was going to go. So I went in the art direction. I was working for a sign company for a while. I started off as
you were installing
being the designer.
signs.
I was the designer for the signs. Is how I got the job.
Okay.
But they were really boring. So how exciting is a sign,
Right.
And then I found out I could make more money installing, so I was installing signs, and then finally it came upon me that I liked the construction aspect of the construction I did. I didn't like following other people's instructions of what they wanted.
Yeah.
Like I want my walls pink, and then
Yeah.
And I really started getting my head set on flipping homes, flipping houses, and so I thought, you know what? I think if I'm going to go that direction of flipping houses, I think I should know the real estate side of it. So I got my real estate license, started working as a realtor to make sure I knew every aspect of flipping.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And it turns out I really liked being a realtor. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I have flipped homes.
Yeah, you've done several in the time that I've worked for Glocker.
Yeah. So I did fulfill that so far. But I didn't realize how much I was actually going to like being a realtor, like buying real estate.
Right.
So
I kind of got into it for the same reasons. Like I had a little bit of background in construction and maintenance in working through parks and recreation and conservation. I was on different maintenance crews, facility maintenance, things of that nature. So I know how houses go together generally,
right.
and I enjoy carpentry and doing construction type jobs. So I had this idea that I kind of knew how houses work, and I could probably sell them.
Yeah.
And I didn't want a job where I was going to be locked into a 9 to 5.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not
same here.
cut
I'm
out
not
for that.
I'm not either.
And then after 15 years in law enforcement, I'm not used to sitting in a desk. I'm used to being out and about,
Right.
going here and going there.
A desk job. No offense to people who do desk jobs. I
It's-
mean,
no,
but
it's
for
just-
me, it would never. I can't do it.
I have to have the ability to be able to get up and get out and go around and
Yeah.
see some stuff. Now I wind up at a desk a lot more than
Right.
I really want to.
Right.
But it's a necessary part of the job
Yeah.
to get the paperwork done and all of that stuff. But I'm
Yeah, and you're not watching the clock. You're just getting your work done.
just getting the work
Yep.
done. You know what I mean? And so that's one of I was drawn into real estate for the exact same reasons.
Yeah, cool.
And I wanted to be my own boss.
Same here.
I, I was tired of that paramilitary structure following orders from other people, and to be honest, sometimes they were shitty orders.
Yeah, right.
And here I am paying the price for somebody else's mistake.
Uh-huh.
I was tired of it. I was absolutely tired of it.
Yeah.
So I was looking around for something that I could do and kind of be my own boss. Now, at the end of the day, the client's your boss.
Yeah.
But I can set my own hours. I control my own business. And if I make a mistake, it's my fault, right?
Right.
And I'll adjust based on what I learned through making some mistakes to provide a better service or be a better real estate agent,
Yeah.
rather than some guy in a desk somewhere filing some disciplinary paperwork against me because I made some paperwork mistake.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
I was tired of that. I was done with it.
Yeah. So, and you're happy with where you're at right now, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
me too.
I am. I think that I have ideas and designs for other businesses. I think some of them are real estate related, other ones aren't. So I know that there's a good probability that I will do something else or start something else, but I don't have any designs or plans in not doing real estate.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Ask me a question.
All right, here we go. Kelly Grigoli. Kelly Grigoli. What advice would you offer someone who plans to one day open their own business? What are the biggest hurdles you face as a small business owner? What advice would you offer? This is a two-part question.
Right. Well,
Yeah, what advice would you give somebody to plan who wants to open their own business?
well, I think the biggest advice is I think there's two things I would point out. And first of all, make sure that your plan, make sure that you plan on, that your plan, okay, let me try this again. Make sure that you are able to afford the plan to start a business of your own, because you are likely to lose money the first few years.
Right,
You know, you don't just start your business and all of a sudden you're making money.
right.
If you do, great, but that's not usually how it works.
No.
So make sure there's a plan. Like for me, when I went out on my own, my wife had a steady job. She's a teacher. So we had insurance and we had a steady paycheck.
Right.
So I felt comfortable. I could do it. The second thing is, I would say, is to go in all.
Go all in.
Yeah, all in. I mean, you can't kind of
Part-time
nonchalantly
it.
do it. Yeah, it has to be. You have to be. Mind has to be there, and you have to go in all the way. That's my.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I left. I'm just going to talk about it because it's so far in the past now anyway. It's almost 7 years since I've been out of law enforcement. But I left a job. When I left my job, I was making about $85,000 to $88,000 a year. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Benefits, health insurance,
It's a lot of
the whole
money to
nine
walk away
yards.
from, yeah.
Right. But it was time. I had to. For my mental health, for my physical health, I had to leave. But there's no way I could have gotten as successful as quickly as I did in real estate by doing it part-time, just by dipping my toe in the water here and there.
Right.
Because the learning curve was so big. I had so much to learn that it was a full-time job that first year or two, just learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could have never, personally, I would have never felt comfortable with just part-time knowledge,
Right.
trying to guide people through huge purchases,
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yep.
We're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of real estate with just part-time knowledge.
Right.
In my mind, that
That
just
doesn't
didn't
even
click.
make sense. Yeah.
And I just figured I'm going to jump in 100% and do it. And if I fail, I fail, and I'll move on to something else. Fortunately, I didn't. But that first year, I mean,
Yeah, you're a good example of going in 100%, and you were do or die.
I had no other.
Float
I
or
had,
sink. It was
That's right.
Yeah.
There was no other option.
Yeah.
Because I had left the police job. I had already resigned from the police department. So I had to do this in order to pay the bills and
Someone's
keep
coming to
things
say hi.
floating down. Oh, it's my lovely girlfriend.
Have a seat.
Have a seat. Sit down. Yes, you're on camera. You don't even see the camera. You don't know where it is. Good. That's great. This is my lovely girlfriend, Chris Golden, who has helped me out tremendously over the past 7 years. Like, really has had my back and supported me and seen me through the times when I wasn't making any money and was literally like eating ramen noodles and mac and cheese.
Back to college days.
Yeah, and like getting really, really creative with the 5 for 1995 bin at Redner's.
Hey, you still do that.
I still do.
do.
And there's nothing wrong with ramen noodles either.
No, exactly. He can really fix those things up. Doctor them up.
I do doctor them up.
Bump them up is what he says.
Oh, I eat them as is, and they're good enough for me.
So, yeah, I think that's the one thing is go in 100% and make sure that you can afford to do it.
Yep.
Get into that mindset that you know that first year or two, it's going to be
Yeah. It's not
gonna
like
be
I'm going
tight.
to try this out. There's no I'm trying this out.
No.
It's like you got to.
I literally had to make some decisions sometimes. Like, you know what? This month, this bill just isn't getting paid.
Yeah.
I'm just not paying it.
Yeah.
In
Not
order
decisions
to,
you want to make, but decisions you have to
you
make.
have to make them
Yeah.
in order to get to where you need to be.
What's the part two?
What are the biggest hurdles you face as a small business owner? What is the biggest hurdle
I
for
think
you?
for what I do, for what we do, I think it's just differentiating myself from other real estate agents. I think
Okay.
that's probably the biggest thing. I mean, I know why you should use me.
Right.
You know why they should, but it's getting that out there and getting it across. I think is probably my biggest hurdle. I think.
The marketing and advertising and creating a niche. I've been lucky with that. You know what I mean? I think it's a struggle. I've been lucky that I hit upon a couple of things that worked right off the bat.
Right.
But I would say that that's tough. I will say this, since my lovely partner is sitting here, I struggle with bookkeeping.
I was
and
wondering if you were going to bring that up.
I struggle with bookkeeping and keeping books and staying organized in that area.
Organization is sometimes tough. To
It's
do,
a struggle.
It is.
I can keep my deal paperwork together. I can keep all of that stuff organized on top of it, calendar. I'm Johnny on the spot. I rarely drop the ball when it comes to that stuff. But getting my books in order and like pulling my expenses and my reports so that I can file my taxes and whatever else.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm horrible. I suck. I can do it. I mean, I can do it. I have the mental capacity to do it, the intelligence to do it.
Yeah.
But it would literally take all of my time, and I wouldn't be out selling. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest challenge for me. And maybe.
So does Chris help you with that then?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A lot. Like she puts a lot of time into it and
Yeah.
effort. And sometimes it's just the poking me. You know what I mean? It's the effort of prodding me along to get it done.
Never
'Cause
easy there.
Because I don't want to do it. I just don't want
Do you have
to.
to bring out the hot prod?
Oh, yes, that works best.
Yeah, she's got a couple of tools that she uses to keep me motivated. But yeah, I think for me that's the biggest struggle that I have. I think too. This brings me up. What are the biggest hurdles you face as a small business owner? I think one of the things that I would like to say along those lines is that it is good to know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and sometimes it's better to spend the money to pay somebody else than to try to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Because as a small business owner, you're going to wear a lot of hats, and some of them you're going to wear well, other ones you're not. And if you can hire somebody who's going to get it done more efficiently, in the long run, it's going to save you money. Or it's going to save you time, which when you run your own business is money.
Right.
Time and money are directly linked.
Yeah. We have another guest here.
This is Lou Beccaria. Do you want to introduce yourself to everybody that's watching?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Lou Beccaria, a friend of Matt's, and
Chris Golden's mentor.
well, okay,
Yes.
friend and mentor, and happy to be here to actually be on the show for the second time because Matt was kind enough to have me on your show in
Porchcast Pottstown.
Camp, and related to publishing a book that I did several months ago, and we're very grateful for the opportunity because I sold some books
You sold some books.
and got some consulting out of it. So,
Right on.
That was great.
So one of the things, Lou, you'll be good at this because you're a small business owner. You're an author and a consultant, and have run several businesses and nonprofit organizations, and et cetera, et cetera. What would you say is the biggest hurdle you face as a small business owner, for you personally?
Well, as my small business is a very, very small consulting right now, I would say the time to market it,
Okay.
and with regard to the book, for example, that we self-published, myself and my co-author, Connie Carter.
What is the? You might. What's the book?
The book is called Nonprofit Excellence: Strategies for a Challenging World, and it's geared to people who work in the nonprofit community benefit sector, those particularly that are on boards and the executive directors of nonprofit community benefit organizations. By the way, we use the term, it's actually come out of the IRS, the term nonprofit, okay? Really, that sector should be called the community benefit sector.
Community benefit sector.
Because
Okay.
it does benefit the society in so many ways. A fairly large percentage of people employed in the United States are employed in the nonprofit sector, so they contribute a lot from a tax standpoint. Second of all, when you call it the community benefit sector, it puts it in a more positive light than nonprofit. So
I
people
gotcha.
who aren't really in the field think, they don't make a profit.
Yeah.
How can they-
Here's another drag on our town or on
Here's
our
another
community.
drag on our town.
Yeah.
That is nothing could be further from the truth. Okay.
So maybe what I'm hearing, one of the hurdles in your small business is getting people to understand the nature of your small business.
Yes. Yeah. And with regard to the book, it's marketing the book because it was self-published, and that takes a lot of time, a lot of creativity to do that.
Right.
Of course, if you publish it through a publishing company, they take care of all
Right.
that.
But you self-published
Yeah.
this last book.
My first book too.
Your first book.
self-published.
What was the title of your first book?
My Journey in Philanthropy, memoir, reflective essays, and interesting stories. And 3 different parts to it.
Okay.
So the memoir part was about how I got into the field, from my influence of my parents, and how I got into the field, and some of the interesting stories of my career along the way. And then there were 14 essays related to interesting things about philanthropy. And by the way, in that book, I invented a new word
Okay.
called a philanthropoid, as distinguished from a philanthropist.
Okay.
Philanthropist is somebody who gives away their own money.
Okay.
Whether you put $5 in a collection plate at church, that's being a philanthropist, or you're Bill Gates and have billions and millions of dollars and everything in between. A philanthropoid is somebody like I spent my career in, as spending other people's money or giving away other people's money.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
So that was in the book. And then the last part of the book was 32 funny, interesting, unusual things that actually happened in philanthropy. So I collected all these stories over a number of years, and I put them in a book because in all my years in philanthropy, which was 30 at 3 different foundations, I never heard anybody say anything about funny, interesting, unusual things that happened.
Right.
And I know some of them happened to me, so I figured they had to happen to somebody else. So that's what the book was about.
One of my favorite little funny comedy skits about nonprofit organizations called, it's a little video. You can find it on YouTube. It's called The Little Table. Just Google The Little Table.
All right.
And it goes through this whole process of them making a decision on where to put a little table in their reception area. It takes them a month. I don't want to give it away.
I feel like
but
I might have saw part of that.
it's funny.
I don't
It's
know.
super funny.
Yeah.
So, Lou, have you ever been to Grind before? Is this your
No,
first
this
time?
is the first time.
So, rave it up, man. Tell us what you think.
Well, first of all, it's a beautiful place. The service was fantastic from our waitress, and the food was great. We had a kind of a cheese plate as a starter, as an appetizer, and then I had salmon for dinner, and it was great. And Chris had a crab.
Crab
cheese.
grilled
You want that?
cheese.
And that's what I had earlier today as well. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for feeding my girlfriend tonight.
Hey, whatever I can do. I'm here to serve.
Thanks for sitting down with us, Lou. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. You might have something else
Yeah,
to
that
say.
sure, let me pick out a new.
Your hurdle kind of jived up with what Jeff and I were saying as far as marketing yourself and timing that marketing.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate what you were saying about getting people to understand what you do. There's a lot of people that don't understand what realtors do. How many times have you heard from somebody where they say, "Oh, well, you guys just go on showings. You guys just show some houses,
just open
don't
doors
you?
for people."
You just open doors." Well, there's a lot more to it than that.
In the average week, what would you say that a full-time real estate agent, how much time they would actually spend in all different aspects of practicing your craft of real estate?
For me right now, I spend the most amount of time managing the transaction. And that means making sure that the contract is being followed,
Yeah.
that inspections are happening at the right time, that we're responding to those inspections, we're learning if there's any problems with the house.
Communicating with the title company, communicating with the other agent, communicating with your client,
Yeah.
all that. It's
That's a lot of coordination.
it
It
yeah.
is. And it takes a lot of a coordinated effort. And fortunately for us at Glocker, we have Jill Diffenderfer, who is our real estate assistant. She's a licensed realtor, so she can do anything that we can do. But she's in the office taking care of that stuff while we're out running around, going to our next client, going to the next listing, going on the next showing appointment. She kind of keeps
She's
that
so much help,
coordination
yeah.
going along. But I would say I spend the most amount of time coordinating the deals. And then obviously, the more deals that stack up, you got more balls in the air in order to get that file to the settlement table. And there's issues that come up along the way. I'm dealing with a title issue on a problem on a property in Spruce Street in Pottstown right now. We got the property under contract and found out that the title company doesn't want to give us an insurance policy on the house. So now we have to talk to lawyers and we have to go to the county and try to track down the nature of this title flaw so that we can correct it. If we can't get the title flaw corrected, we can't sell the house. So there's a lot. Yeah, I would say that that's where I spend the majority of my time.
Yeah, and Lou, you said there goes the commission, but I'll be honest, and I think Matt will agree with me. When you're involved in a transaction and somebody's already in the process of buying a house, and things are about to fall apart, this is their dream. This is like they're putting all their time and effort, and they think they have it. The last thing forget your commission. The last thing you would do is tell them they're not getting the house. So it always seems to work. I mean, we always make it. We always put out the fires.
Yeah, I mean, very rarely have I come across something that we can't fix.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes more time, and that's frustrating to people because they want instant results. And I think we live in a pretty fast-paced, kind of instant gratification society, and there's things you just have to wait for. So people get impatient, especially sellers, because they want that check, right? They want that
Yeah. So
$100,000 check or however
so you
much
put a
they're
down
getting.
payment on the next house.
Correct.
Yeah. I have a question. Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Related to real estate?
Absolutely, you can ask.
If you want to get a little bit closer to the mic, yeah.
As real estate agents, do you have to be kind of common everyday psychologist a little bit and understand your clients? Because you must come into contact with
Yeah.
millions of different not millions, but lots of different people with different personalities, some of which you like, some of which you don't like, and some that are hard to please, some that are easy to please. So you're at the nexus of all of that.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're dealing with a buyer, a seller, it's not the same situation. But a buyer, you're trying to find them that house, right? And I think every time you meet with them, look at a house, you learn a little bit more, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to gauge their reactions and stuff like that to see what they really are looking for. Because sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for. I'm not saying that I know more than they do, but sometimes they don't know. But I can see by their reaction or something that, okay, they seem to be liking this aspect of the house more than this, you know. And when they do find that right house, and Matt, I'm sure you'll agree with me on this, when they find that right house, you know it.
You know
it
it.
immediately.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I've had a couple of situations where I've seen it was their house before they did, but I have never had somebody come back to me and then say, "You forced us into something
no,
or
we don't
oversold
do that.
something." I've always had people come back to me and say, "You saw it first, but then I saw it, and now I love my house." When I'm helping buyers. I think the same thing. You try to read your client to know what they want and what they're looking for. I think the other part of the communication with the client too is to learn what their strengths and weaknesses are. You know, for instance, I've had some clients who work in the building trades. So they're carpenters or HVAC guys. They can go into a house and they know a lot about these systems.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need to take the same amount of time explaining things to them as I do, let's say, somebody who is in charge of a nonprofit organization and has never worked in construction or doesn't know houses together. So you kind of have to shift your focus a little bit there too. So, what are we getting? Feedback about the show?
Is there our camera's still on, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
camera's still on.
Right.
Yeah. Now there is a little bit of delay. If it does go off, I have another battery.
Okay.
And we'll switch it out. But at the end of the day, it's a podcast, so you'll continue to
Let me
hear
do
us.
this. Let me before we have any situation like with the camera or something like that. Let me put some shout. I want to shout out to
Yeah,
all the people
go
guests
ahead.
that we have had so far.
Right.
I'm just going to list them off. Is that
Okay.
cool?
Yep.
Grind Restaurant, Ridgewood Winery in on Daffodil Hill Farm.
Okay.
The winery.
That was a good show.
That was great. Semper Pie, Gramia's Restaurant, Margie Harner. Unfortunately, MJ's legacy is not there anymore.
Right.
But Margie Harner was on, and still a big asset to the community. And I think she's doing something still.
In
just
that
not,
space?
Not in that space.
Oh, no.
I think, but I'm not sure. Maybe Margie can enlighten us.
No, I
on
mean
that.
like in that same kind of
Oh yeah, the same
selling
style
and
stuff.
buying.
Yeah. M&B Design Company, which actually took over M&J's legacy space.
Right,
So they have a bigger space now. Becker Home, Happy Zen Mama, the Peppermint Stick Candy Store,
Dude,
Morel
Happy
Fournier
Zen
Funeral
Mama.
Home.
If you want to watch a funny show,
Yeah. Happy Zen Mama.
Happy Zen Mama.
That was a funny one. It was
Lisa
really good.
is got personality to spare,
She does.
and that was a funny show.
It
Go
was.
back and look at that show. You can find our old shows
I turned
on
red a
YouTube.
few times on that
you
show.
did.
Yeah.
You can find the old shows on YouTube at Glocker Realty and Insurance. Her episode is up there. If you want to see a really good past episode, Check that out.
And
Check that
oddly
one
enough,
out.
another funny one was Morel Funeral Home.
Randy Morel from Morel Funeral
Yeah.
Home. That was probably one of our most
Most
out
out
of
of
hand
hand. Yeah,
shows that
for
we
sure.
had. No control over that thing whatsoever.
It was
And
off the rails.
He was in with Martin Slater,
Yep.
one of
And
our
they-
brokers,
And they were best buddies.
since growing up.
Yeah, since like kids.
And I could totally see why those two guys got separated. Their
great.
teacher had to separate those two
Their
guys.
teachers must have
Hated them.
for sure.
Every teacher in Boyertown, when they were going through, was checking that class list to make sure that those two
Weren't
were in
together. J&B Fitness and Nutrition Coaches. Which
We just had them.
last week. Yeah. Rust and Such Vintage, which we are going to get back to because we never had a full complete show because we had issues with
we
them.
had so many issues, but we're
Not
going to
with
go
them,
back there.
with our equipment.
Those are the folks too.
And that's gonna be a good show when we finally
I knew that
have it.
that was their house. I knew that that was their house the second we walked in it. I had to convince Allison.
We
But
did talk
once
about
I
that,
got
yeah.
her convinced.
And they love it.
They
love
love it there.
They love it. Old House Arboretum. I still said it wrong, I think. Did I say it wrong?
Arboretum.
It's crazy. I can't say that. I can't say Arboretum. I mean, I can now, but every
Yeah.
time I... Anyway, A&R Workshop in Gobersville. That was a pretty fun show, too.
That was a good
the
show.
ladies there were great.
I was a
Kelly
little
and Michelle.
distracted that time. Sometimes it gets
You
distracting
came in late.
for me.
I was
that's
why
late.
you're... Yeah.
I had a lot on my plate, and sometimes it gets distracting for me to do the comments, run the equipment, participate in the conversation, and sometimes I get distracted. I just felt like I was distracted on that show.
Right.
Yeah.
Boyertown Ice Cream and Water Ice Factory, where we got to try some ice creams.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles, which we had
Those
twice with
women
the
are-
ladies.
Yes.
Autumn and Kendra.
And
Yeah,
she
they're-
snorts when she laughs.
She does.
It's pretty intense.
So much fun though. And my wife snorts, so I'm
right.
used
So
to it.
you're used to it.
Your first initial reaction to her snort was the best. You were like stopped in your tracks.
I
You're like,
did.
you
I
just
stopped the whole
snort?"
show.
Yeah. Boyertown, PA Main Street Revitalization, which is building a better Boyertown.
Boyertown.
That's Jillian McGee.
Jillian's been on the show, what, 2 or 3 times now?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The Historic State Theater of Boyertown. We had Charles Haddad and Shannon Anthony and choppers from
And a ghost.
and a ghost.
And we had the ghost lady.
Yeah, I was going to bring up. The
Are you
ghost
up
lady.
to that? Yeah.
I'm not, I didn't bring up that. But yeah,
Chopper.
Where's Chopper? We need to see Chopper.
I haven't seen him on
I know.
recently.
I know. I miss him. Colbrookdale Railroad.
Nathan Lab,
Nathan Lab, right?
who's now a regular watcher of both of our shows.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, he watches this and he also watches
He's a
Portuguese
good guy.
Pottstown.
He's doing a lot over there at the
Great
train.
guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Debbie Stapleton from Let's Get Dancing. which
She
is
was one of our
right
first
across-
guests. I
Yeah.
think she was the second or third show that we did.
Second.
It was
I think
pretty
she
early.
Yeah, it was Keith and then her. I think.
Yeah. And talk about a lady that gets
Because
all the
what?
stuff that she does.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah. For
in
the
a
community
day.
and stuff like that. You mean?
Some people
Yeah.
get more hours in a day. Debbie Stapleton is one of those people.
Right.
For sure. Yeah.
Soul Joe's Comedy Club. We were there at the comedy club. That was fun.
I still have sand in the computer from that day.
Where is that?
It's in Royersford.
Yeah, that's in Royersford.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's an
Good
outdoor
place.
comedy
Comedy
club.
club.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to open up an indoor comedy club in Royersford, and right when the pandemic hit. So they couldn't do any indoor shows. So they moved down along the river in it's Spring City.
Spring City. Yeah.
It's Spring City. And they're down along the
Well,
river.
no, it
in
might be Royersford because it's on the other side of the bridge. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
it's in
Royersford.
Montgomery County.
Yeah.
It's Royersford.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Ropo.
Rofo in the hizzy. Anyway, it's right behind the old train station down by the river, and it's one of those like sports bubble things.
Yeah.
And they have a stage in there, and he's getting national
I was
acts.
wondering what was inside that bubble.
It's a
Yeah.
comedy stage,
And
they're-
now he doesn't want to even go indoors.
no, he's
This is
just
great.
gonna keep
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
And he told us that the comedians love coming in there.
Yeah.
They love it. and he's had some big acts.
Huge acts.
Jim Brewer,
He's got
Andrew
some
Dice
people coming up
Clay.
real soon
Andrew
too.
Dice Clay.
Yeah. Jamie Kennedy from the Jamie Kennedy Experiment's been in
Yeah.
there. A whole list of comedians and
David
and
Tell's this weekend.
David Tell.
Yeah.
He is funny.
Yeah.
I used to watch his
huge.
show Up All Night.
Yeah.
That's a great show. But I mean, international acts he
Yeah,
gets
for
in
sure.
there.
Wow.
Yeah. In Royersford.
Yeah. In Royersford. That's the greatest thing, right? Boyertown Salvation Army. We had the captain in, Captain Rebecca.
Yes.
Healthy Kids Running Series of Boyertown.
We sponsored them, right? Please tell
we
me
are.
we got.
I think we're sponsoring the spring.
In the spring?
In the spring, we're
Okay.
sponsoring. Yep.
Because I promised that guy like 5 times we would sponsor it.
So Jennifer Reinford from Glendale Flour Mill.
That was a good show. If
Yeah.
you're into local history, that was a pretty interesting show. She's rehabbing an 18th century flour mill on in Pine Forge on what street is that? It's right along the banks of the Ironstone Creek. It's right down the street from Ironstone Park, off of Pine Forge Road.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember who else was on that show? Do you remember the girl's
There
name?
was
'Cause
another guest.
It was the girl that was Student of the Year. That she's
She
going for
sent
Student of the
us
Year.
another
Well,
email
her-
and wants to
her
come back.
Sister.
Oh, is that who it is?
Sister wants to. She's going. Her sister's going for Student of the Year.
And
now.
her mom has now won a couple of different contests.
Yes, yeah.
We've given her a bunch
Yeah.
of Glocker swag.
But the girl ended up winning Student of the Year.
Right.
Now her sister's going for it. She wants to come on the show. Awesome to have her.
We'll have her on.
Absolutely.
And that brings up a good point too. How you get onto this show? If you want to get on the show, contact Jen at Glocker, and you can do that by emailing her at jen@glocker.com.
Yeah.
And we'll get you on the show.
that
Anybody from the
simple.
community?
Daikon Senior Living.
That's our buddy Josh, or
No,
excuse
Matt.
me,
That was
Matt
Matt, yep.
Petrauskas.
Bujade. Kimmy
Yeah.
was on.
We need to do another show with her to give her some better sound.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
remember,
know, it was
that
basic.
was when I was having that weird feedback issue.
And it was right around St. Patrick's Day, and she sang "Oh Danny Boy," and it was beautiful. Could make you cry, but the sound was horrible.
Jamal just tuned in from J&D
Hey, Jamal.
Fitness. Thanks for checking us out, buddy.
We're at his favorite place. Grind is his favorite restaurant. He declared that to us.
Come on down. I'll buy you a beer.
Absolutely. Where are we at? Bujade. Adam's Royal Car Wash. We had Adam Heimer in.
You know why? Do you remember why we picked him to come on the
Yeah,
show?
I totally
I
remember.
know
'Cause
exactly
he
why.
had blockaded the whole Philadelphia Avenue in Gilbertsville.
For miles. Miles. I had to drive 5 miles out of my way. He had traffic backed up all the way to 29 and all the way through.
I went to that. It was for the Halloween haunt,
Yeah.
the car wash haunt.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a spectacular idea. I'd never heard of such a thing. A haunted car wash. You actually get your car washed at the same time. You go through this haunted car wash.
Yeah.
I went to it.
creative.
Besides my kids being too scared, we all loved it. But the actors were in the actual car wash, and I remember the suds were coming all around the car, and then this hand came on the window. It was awesome. It was so much fun. I don't think he's going to have it this year though, because I think he got in a lot of trouble that he shouldn't have gotten in. But you know how things go sometimes, right, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Ample Electric LLC and Sam Jam. We got Fred Schutte.
Another guy that owns like 3 different small
Yeah, because
businesses.
there's another business too. I didn't even put it down.
Yeah, it
It's
was
some
the
kind of
industrial supply.
business. Yeah. But we've mentioned his name a few times. There's a couple of places like Happy Zen Mama. We said should have his
Has his
Sam
beard
Jam,
bomb.
Beard Bomb.
Yeah.
And the girls at A&R Workshop. Yeah, 'cause
Yes.
they have stuff like that too. So hopefully he connected with them. Leanne's Life-Changing Fairies.
Yeah.
Leanne, which is actually the mom of Crystal from Semper Fi. Semper
Semper
Pi.
Pi, right?
Yep.
We found that out on the show, and she is going to be on Porchcast Pottstown probably in November.
Cool. Awesome.
I'm going to bring her in
I'm
with
sure
some
she's
other
doing so
people.
great stuff.
There's some real concern about some of the issues revolving around homelessness in Pottstown. It's causing some quality of life issues, not just for the people that are homeless, obviously, but the people. It's starting to impact some of the neighborhoods.
Well, I remember Nathan Lab was saying that was a problem with the train as
They're
well.
having a problem with the trespassers on the train
Yeah.
line, and they don't want to have to do it, but they're going to get to the point where they have to start arresting some people
Right.
because they're not making it safe for the train to be going through there.
Yeah.
And they're losing money because things are getting stolen from the railroad.
Yeah.
So my idea is to have Leanne come in and sit down with some other people from the community in
And kind of get them
Pottstown.
all working together.
And maybe we can have a dialogue about how we can address some of these issues.
That's good.
Because it's really becoming an issue for
Yeah.
some people, especially homeowners who they want a nice neighborhood. No one wants to say, "Oh, I don't want to help the homeless people."
Yeah.
There's a balance that has
There
to
is
go
a
on.
balance, and it's a tough one. And then of course, Glocker Realty, we had our brokers in Matt Kennedy and Martin Slater on the show, and all that is due to one person helping
Yep.
us out. And who is
Yep.
that?
That's Jen Seville.
Jen Seville. Yep.
Our
so thank you,
producer.
Jen. Thank you.
She does a lot of work behind the
Does
scenes.
so much work behind the scenes, and then she does all the giveaways and everything that Glocker is doing all the time.
Right.
And then she's doing the bookkeeping on top of it.
And is the insurance assistant.
And she's insurance assistant. So she's got,
Maybe we should
she's
have
got a
her-
lot of hats.
Maybe we should have her as a guest.
We want to.
Yeah, we're trying to get her on. I don't know why she's shy, because she does other videos for Glocker Realty and Insurance. She does the giveaway videos, and she runs
I
all
don't
of the
think she likes doing
giveaways.
it. She just does
But
it.
she does them.
Yeah.
I see her doing videos on her personal Facebook page, but for some reason she doesn't want to come on with us.
Yeah. She's nervous.
And
Unlike being-
she's recovering. She's in recovery right now from
Not
some
from drugs.
minor surgery.
Yes. Yeah, so I just want to put that out there. It
I
wasn't
think
drug
she may have scheduled the surgery just to get out of
just to
coming in here tonight.
That's
I
right.
think there's a
I'm
good
sure
possibility.
that's what it was. She's like, Doc, can you
there's
cut
a-
me up somehow?
Yeah,
Or-
on the 6th. Could we yeah.
That's you got to the bottom
I'm
of
going
it.
to talk to her when she comes back into the office. Hopefully she's recovering speedily.
All right.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to.
No
Hey, thanks
problem,
for coming
Lou.
on.
Yeah,
Thanks for sitting
enjoyed it.
down.
Yeah.
Give us the name of that book one more time. Your latest book is called, and say it right into the microphone so people can hear you.
It's called Nonprofit Excellence: Strategies for a Challenging World. It's the co-authors are Lou Beccaria and Connie Carter. It can be purchased actually by contacting me at 610-283-8278 or sending me an email at bbguy1945 at outlook.com.
What's BB stand for?
Baseball guy.
Ah.
I was a former baseball player. So.
Oh, nice.
And the price is $17.95, and there's literally thousands of dollars worth of free consulting in the book. So if anybody out there is involved with nonprofits in some way, it's consider it not a cost but an investment in what you're doing.
Yeah,
So
I think
thanks, guys.
$17.95 is probably not going to break anybody.
No.
Probably.
We were talking about comedy and jokes. And
You're
stuff.
on the
Oh, you
open
got a
mic.
joke? Are you going to tell us a joke?
Well, it's a nonprofit community benefit joke, and I
Okay.
tell this when I teach classes. I tell this at the end of the class all the time because I
Okay.
try to make the impression that by being involved in that sector, you really make a difference, either people's lives or the community and whatever. So, I tell there were these two nonprofit fundraisers who died and went to heaven. And St. Peter says, "I'm sorry, but you don't meet the Lord's criteria for getting into heaven. You're going to have to spend eternity in hell with Satan." So a week later, the Lord is talking to St. Peter and going over the list of those that were admitted and those that weren't. And he says, why were these two people turned down? And she goes, well, I didn't think they met their criteria. He said, go down and talk to Satan, see if you can get him up here. So St. Peter says, okay, Lord. So he goes down and talks to Satan, tells him the Lord wants him up there, and Satan says, no way. And he goes, why not? He goes, well, they've only been here a week. They've already raised $100,000, and they got the place air conditioned.
Nice.
Thanks a lot.
That's good.
Thanks for checking in, Lou.
Yeah, thank you.
The open mic is still open for the remainder of the show. Come on down, and we're going to say it again, because I know some people have tuned in and then tuned out, and then they're back.
They're
The
like, they're
grind.
still going?
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
The grind was very,
Nice meeting you.
very gracious enough to let us take up
Hi, Chris.
2 of their tables. So please, over the next day or 2 or this weekend, if you like the cast at Glocker, come on down to the grind and tell them that Matt and Jeff sent you down. Show them some love, because we did kind of cut into their service a little bit tonight. I'm going to order dinner before I go.
I already ordered dinner. I ate dinner before. So here we go. Here's another question, because I want to get to at least most of these questions. Some of these questions, at least.
I'll keep
Doreen-
talking as long as people are on the air. There's
Yeah.
people. There's still people watching us.
Yeah. Doreen Pennypacker.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine from Pottstown.
She's-
I grew up with her. She lived over on Beach Street, right around the corner from my house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Pennypackers around here, I think.
Yeah, big name.
What are your biggest accomplishments in life? Question mark,
Ooh,
exclamation
in
mark.
life.
Yes, that's huge.
I have 3 sons who seem to be on the right track to manhood. I gotta say that's one of my greatest accomplishments. I have 3 kids,
I was looking at the question. That's my thought, too. I mean,
and they're all healthy and smart.
yeah.
Give your dad a call. He misses you.
Yeah, I mean, that's my thought. As a life accomplishment, for sure, my family. I try to be a good husband and a good father, and I think I'm accomplishing that
Yeah.
for the most part, at least.
Right.
My kids are good. It has to be some. I have to be some part of that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
no, you're good. I'll vouch for you. You're a
Thank
good
you.
dad.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I agree with you. As a life accomplishment goes, that's probably the biggest. I was thinking about what other accomplishments.
Like, do you have a work accomplishment that you're proud of? I mean, you got to be proud
Well,
of
this is it. This is my work accomplishment, because this is, again, because what we were talking about earlier. It's sink or swim.
Chopper.
Is Chopper on?
Just joined us. Thanks for tuning in, Chopper.
We're just talking about you. Good stuff, of course. We're looking for you.
Helping get grind open.
But yeah, no. But I mean, just doing this in general, because it's a sink or swim situation.
Okay.
And I've been successful.
I thought maybe just helping Keith get the grind, get the purchase, and help him getting off the ground. I think if I was you, I'd be proud of that.
I am proud of it. But
because this wasn't an easy sale,
It
was
was
it?
not an easy sale, but I don't want to take anything away from Keith, because what Keith did here is amazing. He's
right,
yeah.
right,
So
right,
I don't
right.
even want to. I don't even want to. Like, I'm happy that I helped him with his journey.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. It's his journey, and I don't want to take anything from that.
I
because-
gotcha.
Yeah. From what you're saying, that's what I love about this job, is just that each time I feel like it's an accomplishment.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was thinking. I actually saw this question earlier, so I was thinking about it, and I'd say in an artistic accomplishment, the fact that I had a band, because that was really a huge accomplishment to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not a great singer, I'm not a great musician, but we played in amazing places. We
Yeah,
played
you
in
traveled
Dobbs
around.
down in Philly. I mean, we played in Allentown, Bethlehem, around here. Our last performance was at the other farm, which is awesome, I think. You know.
Right.
But so some pretty cool accomplishments.
Did you ever think
in my
about
life.
getting the band back together?
No.
No?
No.
That's done?
I'm too old, and that's it.
That's it?
But I love playing. I love
I
playing
gotcha.
music, and I would certainly play with them, and I would play anywhere. But it's not like, hey, let's get the band back together. Let's go try to play out places.
Right. I
'Cause
think
we weren't a cover band. If we were a cover band, we could probably pull it off.
I gotcha. No, doing original music is it's difficult,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's hard getting people out to your shows.
Yeah.
When you're doing original music, everybody kind of wants to hear the hits that they know while they're drinking their beers.
Right.
I would say that professionally, I'm probably most proud of working with the rehabilitation companies and the rehabilitation work
Yeah.
that we've done in Pottstown. I keep losing track of how many, but
Oh, you
somewhere in
done
the
a lot,
neighborhood of 30 homes
Yeah.
with 5 different companies. Obviously, the number one company that I work with in charge, as far as volume is concerned, is Find Solutions Properties. And I think they're getting on like 25, 26. And then there's been other ones that I helped. I helped Stephanie Guest with Steel Roots Marketplace. I think her and I worked on 6 different properties. But I would say that's my most proud accomplishment in the real estate industry, is guiding those companies through the renovation process and working with the borough and the government organizations in order to get the permitting and that's needed to go into all that stuff.
Right.
And then obviously the impact that that's had on the community. We know for a fact that our work in that space has changed the real estate market in
And
Pottstown
that's no
for the
question.
better.
That's not at
Yeah.
all.
So that's
mean,
I'm most proud of that.
You're bringing up Pottstown, which
professionally.
you love.
It's-
You
it's
love
my
Pot-
home.
It's your home.
It's
You
where
love it.
Doreen and I grew up,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
and it shows. But I mean, you definitely impacted your hometown in many ways too.
Yeah, in a positive way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just through real estate. You do a lot for you do a lot of
Civic
duty and
involvement and
stuff. Yeah.
civic engagement. But to be honest, that's really is an extension of real estate. You know what I mean? It's part of my networking. So,
All right. You know, pick
one
another.
more? Another one? Now, are we giving anything away tonight? Do we have
No.
any prizes or anything? Okay. Jamie Parson. Well, I'm giving away beer. If you
Yes.
get yourself down here while we're on the air,
Yeah.
I'll,
You
I'll
don't even
make
have
su-
to be on camera.
No, I'll buy you a beer. Show up. Jamie Parsons, what is the most embarrassing moment of your life? So this is the one that I knew was coming.
Because we kind of talked about it at the office.
And I've been thinking about it since then, and I don't embarrass easily. I just don't.
That's good for you.
I don't. I can't really think. There is a story, but I don't know that you want me telling it on a family-friendly show.
Yeah, probably.
We would have to do that. I'd have to do it as part of my comedy skit at Soul Joel's or
Right.
something. But it does involve human waste.
You know what's fun? Wait. Well,
Yeah,
maybe it's okay.
It involves poop.
Oh, tell a poop
No,
story.
I'm not telling it. I can't. In order to tell it right, I really have to use not safe for workplace language and
okay.
descriptions.
Oh man.
Let's just say I ran out of toilet paper while I was at somebody else's house at a party. I didn't get pinched.
Yeah.
Like, nothing I did embarrassed me that night, but it's an embarrassing story to tell.
Yeah.
I just like telling it because it's funny.
Sorry, folks. I'm going to hear the story immediately after the show.
Yes. And then maybe we can figure out a way to tell it another day.
All right.
So what's your embarrassing moment?
So
what did you come up with?
This is the whole reason it came up at the office, because I'm like, you know what? That's really. I know I've gotten embarrassed a lot.
right.
Here and there, you know.
Yeah.
I say stupid stuff all the time. I mean, I'm getting much better at it, but I used to just talk and not like think at all.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
So it
yeah,
just,
yeah.
It
Your
just comes out
brain
really-
and your tongue were
Right.
disconnected.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've taken that pause for a minute, you know.
Yeah.
So I've gotten better at it. But so I'm going to go back to my childhood, and this is what I said. And when I was in kindergarten,
Yeah.
we were getting ready to get on the bus. We're getting our stuff ready in class and lining up, and I had to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And I asked I don't think I asked my teacher. I think I asked one of the assistants or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And she said, "No, your bus is here. You got to go." And I'm like, "But I really, really got to go." And she's
Yeah, I
like, "No,
gotta go."
She's like, "I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to wait. Your bus is here." So I got on the bus and I tried to hold it, and at some point, I let go.
So you peed your pants on
I
the bus?
peed my pants on the bus. I don't
Did
know.
did the other kids know?
I don't know that. I don't think I was sitting with anybody, but I don't even know. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I don't know if anybody knew about it on the bus, but I knew about it, and I had to go home. And the first thing I said, I remember walking in and my mom greeting me there, and I was like, "Mom, I peed my pants."
Oh,
today."
dude.
And it's just so,
And you had to tell your mom.
yeah. So that was probably the
Don't
thing
you
that
wish?
sticks with
Don't
me
you
the
wish
most.
the 47-year-old Jeff could go back to that day, like in
And
your
just say, "I'm going to the
I'm
bathroom."
going to the bathroom, lady.
If I miss the bus, and I'm missing the bus.
And if you don't let me go, I'm whipping it out right here.
Right. Yeah. I mean, with having kids, she probably heard it all the time. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta go to the bathroom, and they're like, "No, you really don't. You can hold it."
But don't you think the bus would have waited like another minute for somebody to go to the
I just had to
bathroom?
go pee. I didn't,
Yeah. I think we
Yes.
should let this kid pee before he pees on your bus.
Right. Right.
Anyway.
That was the rough days. They'd probably let him pee now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They'd probably get sued by somebody if you know.
That was the question, right?
Yeah. What's the
We covered
That's
that
from
one?
Jamie Parsons. I believe that Jamie Parsons won a contest.
Oh yeah.
That name sounds familiar. I
You
think
can
she
remember
I
stuff
think
like
she
that,
might
I-
have won something, like Ask a Realtor or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this one's from Jessica Idle. She says, "What's your favorite vacation spot?" Hit it.
Chris Golden and I went on vacation last year to this place in West Virginia called Capon State Park. And it's outside of a town called Berkeley Springs. And there's a thing there called Washington's Bathtub. It's hot springs.
Oh, okay.
Natural hot springs that come up
In
through the
PA?
earth. No, this is in West Virginia.
West Virginia.
It's
Okay.
right over. It's not very far from the Pennsylvania border.
Okay.
It's in the northern part of the Panhandle, so it's like Pennsylvania. It's where Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia kind of come together. And it's a beautiful state park, and they have anything that you can imagine doing in the outdoors. There's a hotel there, there's golf course, horseback riding, there's a restaurant, there's a nature center, they got mountain bike trails, scenic overlook, there's a swimming beach. I mean, you name it, you can do it there.
Uh-huh.
And we rented this cabin. They have these cabins that are awesome. The kitchen at the cabin was better and nicer than the kitchen at my house.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's
So I-
glamping. That's called.
It's total glamping.
Yeah.
And you can't tent there. You either have to stay in one of the cabins that they have or get a room at the hotel. But it's a
So why do
it's
they
a 4-star hotel.
Yeah. Why do they consider it a camp? Why do they consider it a cabin?
'Cause
what
it's
makes it a
It's a
cabin?
log cabin.
'Cause it's a
They're
log
like
cabin,
log
okay.
cabins. Yeah. The big
Drywall inside and
fireplaces.
stuff.
No.
With the
full-on log
wood inside,
cabin.
yeah.
Yeah. That has to have been my most of late
Yeah.
of recent times. That I would go back to that place in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Capon State Park in West Virginia. Awesome.
Cool.
Highly recommend.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will have to remember that.
Oh, you do. Your kids would love it.
Yeah.
Your kids would
So I
love
want
it.
to take them more camping places than we do.
Your kids will love it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
Um,
I know the answer to this.
Do you?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
The beach. You just
Yeah.
bought a house there,
I
dude.
know. The well, yeah, but see, I've been a lot of places.
Okay. All right.
And a lot of beach places. I mean, I was thinking about. I looked at all of these questions beforehand.
Oh, you cheated.
So I kind of did, yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes I need to think, you know.
Right.
But I think one of the nicest places I went to that both me and my wife love
I'm good. Thanks.
I'll take one more. Is Bermuda. Bermuda
Yeah,
is
Bermuda's super nice.
freaking
I've been there twice.
beautiful.
How many times have you been
Twice.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, and man, it's beautiful. It's a great place. I don't know. I love it, and it's not that far away. You know, it's really only off
No.
the coast of.
North Carolina.
Is
I
that North
think.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Or is it?
I think it's off the coast of North
North
Carolina
Carolina.
to fly there.
Yeah.
Not very far.
I've taken a ship there both times.
That's how I went.
Yeah.
I went there the second time on a cruise.
Mhm.
But when I was a kid, we went there and we flew.
And you flew in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. I love that. Hawaii. I loved.
You've been to Hawaii?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hawaii.
no, no.
Hawaii was completely different. Like Bermuda and Hawaii are nothing the same.
Oh no, no, it's completely
Yeah.
different ecosystem.
Um,
Well, one's in the Atlantic and the other one's in the Pacific.
Right.
So there's
One's in the
that.
Caribbean and one's not too. But man, it's like they're both really great in completely different ways. And I also have a little soft spot for the. I wouldn't even say Jersey Shore, even though I bought a house in Delaware Shore.
Right, right.
I'm going to say Ocean City, New Jersey is a great 2-hour ride,
Yeah,
and I don't know, it just the vibe there I love. And
gotcha.
I'm a beach guy, like Matt said from the very beginning. I love beaches.
I
One
just
more
figured
thing,
you were gonna go there.
Switzerland. I've been to Switzerland. What an amazing! I mean, that's all like, wow. It makes me say
Mind-blowing.
wow, mind blowing. It's the beauty, everything. It's crazy there. So
I
Switzerland.
would like to do more international travel. I just have not. It just never. I've never had the time to do it. And I've really not been out of the country all that much. I've been to Canada. I've been to Bermuda, and then I went on a Caribbean cruise a few years ago, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I would love to go to Europe and some of these places. Switzerland. I always wanted to go to Romania.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
The pictures of Romania just look super intriguing to me. And I've talked to other people that have been there, and they say it's a great place to visit.
Yeah.
And it's cheap. From an American perspective,
My wife's
Romania is
my
very
wife's
cheap.
parents are from Romania.
Are they?
Mhm.
It's super nice, apparently. Maybe I have to get them to take me.
My one buddy says I think it's 50th. His 50th birthday. I think he wants to go to Romania.
Okay.
I think everyone wants us all to go to Romania.
Yeah.
I would love to go. He wants to go to Transylvania.
Right.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be super scenic, and there's lots of history there,
Yeah.
and the people are super nice, and your dollar goes super far. Yeah.
I believe that. Yeah.
So, all right, we're starting to lose some people, and we've been on the air for
Like
almost 2
2
hours, so this is the longest show. I think it might be one of my longest podcasts ever.
Yeah.
We're not Joe Rogan yet,
Right.
where we can do a 3.5 hour
No,
podcast.
no. We gotta bring it down at this point. I think.
All right, so let's do one more question.
You want one more
Yeah,
question?
we'll do one more.
So you're 2.5 hour.
Yeah, why not? We got to end
All right.
shortly, but there's still some people watching. Thanks for hanging in there with us. I don't
want a real estate question. It's the only reason I'm putting this one back. Hold on. I'm gonna go for a non-real estate question.
being picky.
Okay. This is from our producer, so this must be read anyway. What would your significant other say that is their biggest pet peeve about you?
Oh, I wish Chris was still here. She could have told us.
She could answer that question for you.
I'm not as organized as she is, and I'm not as clean. You know what I mean? Not that I'm dirty, but I don't clean up after myself as
Right.
well as she does. Like, she's Johnny on the spot, and I have a tendency to let things lay around. Or I get busy and I start running around, and I just don't get to it. So I think that's probably her biggest pet peeve. The other thing that I do that irritates her a lot, I'm trying to get better at it, is I just make plans. Like, somebody will go, "Hey man, do you want to
And you
go?"
say yes.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. Yeah." Yeah. And then I'll get home and she's like, what? You're what?
Right.
We're doing what?
Right.
You're doing what? I
Right.
don't want to do that. Why did you agree to do that?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. It sounded cool to me. So I make a lot of plans. I think probably those are tied for first place.
Yeah.
But those are my top two answers. I'm not as clean and organized as she is, or I don't get to it as quickly as she would like. And I make plans without consulting
Right.
her. I just agree to stuff, or just say I'm going to do some stuff, and then spring it on her
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
As for me, I think my wife would say, I don't know, but I think she would say I probably don't listen enough. But I'm gonna say that, but in my defense,
Yeah.
I'm easily distracted, and when I say distracted, like she could be telling me something, and I start thinking about that thing.
Yes.
So I don't hear the rest because I'm still like processing it and thinking about that one thing. And another thing is I don't have the greatest memory, so sometimes she tells me something and I don't remember it, and I think it's just memory, you know. So it's not that I don't want to listen. It's not that I don't think she's interesting. It's just the fact that I don't quite hear everything all the time.
So I literally cannot hear. So
Right.
I often do not hear what is being said to me. And the other thing I'm good at too is I read lips since I can't hear. And there are certain times when I don't read the lips properly. So somebody will say something to me, and my response is what I thought they said, but it's not actually what they said. So my response doesn't jive up with what they were saying to me or asking me.
Yeah.
That happens to me a lot. I don't know if that bothers Chris, but I can't hear.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why I wear the headphones on the show. So
Right.
it helps me hear. All right.
All right. Let's
Listen,
bring it down now.
let's break it
It
down.
was a
This
good
is,
show. It's the longest, absolutely the longest one we've ever done.
I think it's the longest. I think it's the longest podcast that I've done. I was on a friend of mine. A friend of mine has a podcast called Roadheads. Matt Fulcheron and Louis Katz.
I know
They're
that
both
Matt Fulcheron
comedians.
name.
Yeah, and Louis is a comedian. He's been on Comedy Central.
Oh, he's the one that was at Soul Joe's?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's been at Soul Joel's too.
Yeah.
And they have a podcast called Roadheads, and I was invited to be a guest on Roadheads, and we talked for about 3 hours,
Wow.
which they then edited down to I think an hour and 45 or maybe 2 hours.
There will be no editing for with
No,
this one.
this is just straight.
Yeah.
This is just raw live
what you get.
footage. But this is the 1-year anniversary of the cast at Glocker. We like to talk about all things that are going on in Boyertown and the surrounding area. We bring to life Jeff's blog, and your blog is called?
What's going down in Boyertown?
So we try to bring Jeff's blog to life and bring people up to speed on what's going on in Boyertown. We talk to businesses, organizations, individuals who are contributors to society in the lovely borough of Boyertown and the surrounding area. If you would like to be on the show, contact Jen at Glocker.com. She's our producer. She does a lot of work behind the scenes to get this show off the ground, because oftentimes Jeff and I are running all over the Tri-County area selling real estate. So thanks again to Jen Seville and all your hard work
Yeah, thank you,
for
Jen.
keeping us on the air. Tomorrow night, Thursday at 6 o'clock, I will be
Porchcast
doing
Pottstown.
Porchcast Pottstown. We're interviewing Twyla Fisher, Kathy Skitko, and Stephanie Trauner
And
from
where are they up?
Hobart's Run,
Oh,
which is
okay.
a community development organization
Yeah.
in the borough of Pottstown. We're going to bring people up to speed on what Hobart's Run does
Cool.
for the community.
That would be good.
You can get up to $5,000 to help you buy a house from Hobart's Run. You might want to tune in to
That's
learn
super.
about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's tomorrow at 6 on Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate and Porchcast Pottstown. You can Google Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate and you will find all kinds of information about me.
Awesome. Go to jeffknowsboyertown.com. Every Thursday I put out the event blog. This week I'm highlighting PickFest 2021. It's happening this year.
It's
a
Sunday, isn't it?
It's a one-day event this year. Yeah, It's Sunday. This Sunday from 11 to 6. There's going to be some great bands, and it will be in the Colebrookdale Railroad parking lot. It'll be a lot of fun, tons of fun. But I'm highlighting that and the other events that are going on. I also want to just mention that Preston's Pantry food drive is happening at the Boyertown Area Multi-Service this weekend as well. Saturday from 10 to 6. So be sure to drop off some goods there to help with that. And in the State Theater, Chopper, if you're still watching, No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie, is coming out this Friday at the State Theater. First run, opening night. Check that out. That will be fun.
Nice.
Find me at Jeff at Glocker. Just Google Jeff at Glocker, and you will find all my social media and contact information. And if you want to buy a house, contact one of us or both of us. Right?
Whoever you like.
Yeah.
We'll help you out. Anyway, this has been the 1-year anniversary show of the Cast at Glocker. Catch us almost every Wednesday at 6-ish. One more time, we've been down here at Grind. They've been our gracious host. Please, over the next couple of days, if you like the show and support the show, please support Grind Restaurant. Let them know that Matt and Jeff from Glocker sent you in. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for your participation.